Hi everyone, Season 28 PTR is live. I've been blasting it last night and I have unlocked the entire altar of rites. And I get a lot of questions about how certain things work. So I want to kind of make an FAQ video here a little bit, either for those that are playing PTR or haven't seen anything yet, so that you understand a bit how it works. So when you start a season in Season 28, you're gonna go here in New Tristram. In the patch notes originally it said something about festering woods and you have to find it and stuff like that. But that's not actually the case. So first thing I did when I logged into the PTR was going to Festering Woods here in Act 1. And there was absolutely nothing until we found out that it's just standing here in New Tristram. So when you click on this, you have this tree here. I have everything unlocked already now. That was very easy to do on the PTR. In case you are starting out on the PTR, you want to try it for yourself. My tip is you do 2 or 3 normal Nephilim rifts to get 50 blood shards. You buy a bag of fortune. And then you're set up, basically. You go from there. Because then you have infinite blood shards, you can buy everything from the PTR vendor. There's a guy in town. Anyway, regarding this tree here in the game, you have to choose which seal to unlock depending on the cost. And there's no way to undo your choices. This doesn't really matter that much because in the end, after not even that much time in the season, pretty much everyone will have unlocked everything anyway. And there's not really that much to really do out of your way to grind for it or something like that. We talked about this ahead of the PTR already. There are in particular 2 steps where you have to do some grinding. One is the Staff of Herding. That's like the biggest one here right at the end, number 25. And before that is a never-ending questions, which is a set dungeon item. But that is going to get changed as it looks like. So realistically, all the stuff is relatively minor and something that you just get basically on the way, and you don't really have to worry much about it. Some people will be faster than others, depending on how much you're blasting and how much you try to do this as fast as possible. On the PTR, this took me like 3 hours or something with all the extra stuff that you get. On the live server, I would expect that very experienced players can do it in like 10 hours. And then depending on how casual you are, maybe up to 20, maybe 30 hours. Now regarding the mechanics of how these seals work, this one is pretty straightforward, I guess. The permanent pools, they work in a really interesting way. So you click a pool and then you get like a certain like amount of extra XP, just like normal. And whenever it reaches the end, it's basically when it's expired, it just refreshes and gives you a new pool. So this is how that works. You don't get like one pool and has like an infinite amount of XP. I guess that doesn't work with the game, but it just gives you continuously a new pool. So that is pretty cool. Obviously, you have to make sure they don't die. But aside from this, it's up to 41% extra XP because there's a bug with double dipping when you close a Greater Rift. And this actually gives you more than the 25 it's supposed to give you. Then we have like very straightforward like damage and damage reduction stuff. The elite damage here, you have to know this is exactly the same as the stat that you can get on like Furnace or Sunkeeper and these kind of things. So it stacks with that as like an additive bonus. You have this HP from the health globes. Could be potentially quite interesting for speed farming builds, especially for Z-Necro setups and stuff like that. We have the 10% and the 15% damage nodes here. They seem to be both multiplicative. So that is actually pretty good. So this makes them pretty strong and they also benefit every single build equally. So that's quite nice. We have this resource on crit here, which seems to work pretty much exactly like a cane power on crit. Or, you know, these similar effects, for example, like we had on the Ethereals, on monks in Season 24. So this means that they are scaling with your skills proc coefficient. So when you use a big AoE skill on like a single target, you're not going to get much out of this because it has a lower chance to proc stuff. And then the more single target skills will have a higher chance to proc stuff. So depending on which skill you use against how many targets, you're going to get more or less out of this. Here's a times 2 DBs. So this one stacks with the stage bonus. You can get 16 Death Breath from a single elite pack in Torment 16. And you can absolutely crash the server really easily when you find a blue goblin. So good luck with that. Then we have the auto orbs. This one is seemingly not really working as intended right now. So it seems like it just gives you like a bunch of extra pickup radius. I don't think it actually shows in the character details. So it doesn't really work for stuff like Witch Doctor, passives, and these kind of things. But yeah, it's generally relatively smooth to pick up orbs, but not 100% consistent. And there's also this +1 progress orb, which is an extra orb that drops when you defeat an elite pack. And this orb always drops on the player and not on the pack. So for example, in groups, You have, people spread out in different parts of the zone, and everyone gets their own progress orb. Yes, you can get up to 4 extra progress orb per pack. It's absolutely broken and absolutely should not work that way, but this is what it does right now. So let's see if that changes. Then you have the CC immunity, that's pretty straightforward. The pass ability, this is the illusory boots effect, pretty much exactly like that, if you're wondering. And finally, we have like this auto DB and auto pickup and stuff like that, which does seem to help quite a bit in terms of quality of life. Realistically, I don't really expect that much to come out of it, but I guess especially like more casual players will love this. But I think it really sounds better than it is. First of all, DBs are not a problem in 2023, in my opinion. Like most seasons these days, I don't even play with Sage set, and I have way more Death Breath than I can ever spend. And I already do a lot of bounties that gives me the extra mats to actually use those DBs. So I don't really think that this really matters here, and neither does this, but it's like a nice little thing, I guess, especially in like the first few days. And you have this auto pickup and salvage of like white, blue, and yellow items. And again, I don't think this will really accumulate to that much, but it might help a little bit with like cleaning up the trash. For example, you open a bounty cache and there's some yellow items dropping, and your pet just runs around and gets rid of all the stuff on the ground. Or for example, when you do puzzle rings, there's a lot of yellow items between the legendaries. So in those cases, it will help a little bit. But realistically, in terms of like an actual material income, this is going to be pretty minor. Especially if you're considering this double bounty bonus here. So with double bounties, I expect a lot of people will have a lot more motivation to farm bounties, get their materials, and when you do one bounty run on Tournament 16, you're gonna get something like 2,000 to 2,500 like combined materials from like a few minutes of doing all the acts with someone. So it's gonna be pretty crazy in terms of how many materials you get, and this is kind of like the little cherry on the top. Then we have the Triune Circles, the first potion power. So this is exactly like the Season 18 theme. So if you have played Season 18, you'll know this. If not, you spawn one of these 3 circles. They look like Oculus rings with a different color, and they, I think, last the same time as well. There's a purple one that gives you 100% damage. It does stack with Oculus. Then there is the teal one that gives you resource cost reduction, and then there's like some orange one or something that gives you cooldown procs or something like that. So there's 3 different colors, and the cooldown procs is like a Zodiac proc every second. Yeah, kind of neat, especially the purple circle is pretty strong, especially if it overlaps with like an Oculus or so. So in particular in groups, this is quite important. Then you have this minus 25% damage for enemies within 25 yards. You actually do have like a little animation for this. So when you press a potion, you see like this little explosion here. Looks like a threatening shout or so with a different color. Oh, here's the Triune ring, by the way. And yeah, it just helps a little bit. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, but this is something that is just like a neat bonus. And then finally, we have the random shrines and pylon powers. And this one is absolutely broken. So you might have seen my other video already with the support Necro Solo 150. You get full duration pylons, and those also get doubled by Flavor of Time, or the shrines, they get boosted by the Gloss of Worship. Everything works. It's like the normal pylons. For some reason, the conduit is actually stronger than usual, something like 3 times stronger actually. So it just like melts everything, like yellow packs in 5 seconds. It's crazy. And we'll 100% see a massive nerf to this. Like, this is guaranteed. Originally, I was expecting this would be, taken care of already before the PTR, but apparently not. So I was thinking that, maybe when you get pylons, they're going to be like 10 seconds duration or so. That would maybe kind of not be absolutely broken. But here we are with like 1 minute condies, 1 minute powers, 2 minute shields, you name it. And you get them like all the time when you press the potion. You can press the potion at full health with the season theme. So you can just spam it every 30 seconds. In the case of the Necro, even faster. It's just ridiculous. Like, this thing basically clears rifts on its own. The way that you unlock this tree is you have to go down one of these paths. So this calculator here is actually accurate. So you see that, this path unlocks now, and then you can go this or this, and you just need one to go to the next. So this is actually pretty straightforward. And from here, you just have to rush like one of these sides, usually through double bounties, I imagine, for most people, when the season actually launches. And then you can even go here to the sides and pick up the potions quite early. And the thing is that the potions are not actually part of this exact sacrifice order here, but they require these new primal ashes or primordial ashes that you get from salvaging primal items. So you can kind of like math out or like plan out your cost ahead of time and then just wait for the primals to drop until you can get the potion powers. And especially the left one and the right one are the ones you want to choose first. And then this is the last one that you add as like the little extra at the end. And once you have unlocked everything, you get like the final upgrade here, which is the double primal drops and the wings. So the wings I can show you right now. They are these. So they look pretty cool. They're like, you know, very Diablo-like, I guess. And having this nice little fiery glow and stuff. But the more interesting part for me here are the double primals. So that actually feels pretty good. You find a primal and then another random primal drops. It's not the same item. It's not even the same item class. So you can get a bow and a chest piece or whatever. And it just gives you like another one. So you literally get double the amount of primals. That doesn't work for gambling. This doesn't work for crafting, obviously. So you don't like randomly pop out another primal. But it's pretty nice because, yeah, it gives you like more chance to get some good items, I guess. And also more primordial ashes to use in the cube recipe. In fact, there is a very interesting mechanic right now. So it's possible to get a primal drop and then get an extra primal that is a potion. Yes, in Season 28, there are primal potions. So I haven't found one yet, but we had one drop yesterday and people showed it to me. So it's actually quite funny and it works exactly like any other primal. So it's just a max rolled potion with the red border, but it's a pretty hilarious feature, I guess. Lastly, when you're on the PTR trying to unlock this tree right now, there are a few things that came up all the time yesterday. So there is like a little bit of a bug with some of these steps or something that you might be missing. So one is the Hellfire Amulet. I get questions about this all the time. It needs to be an ancient Hellfire Amulet, so you can't use a normal one. The same goes for the puzzle ring. So this has to be an ancient one here. And obviously when you have an augmented weapon, some people didn't know what that is. That's the cube recipe 10. Go check it out so that you can do this. And also there's a Ring of Royal Grandeur sacrifice at step 10. There is a bug with the follower bag that the ring from that bag doesn't work. So you have to use like a jewelry bag and use that Ring of Royal Grandeur. Also, in case you are playing not with an English client, better install the English client for the PTR because this is a test realm. They obviously have not translated this stuff. So you're not gonna see most of the tooltips. And this is also what I have to share here for now regarding the Season 28 theme. Hope this helps you and gives you a good overview. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them. And I'm going to be on the PTR. I'm going to be live streaming every single day. So feel free to, you know, hang out and ask questions there as well. I'm going to be covering a lot more stuff from the PTR. Obviously, the Natalia Demon Hunter and a bunch of other builds that I want to try with the season theme powers, see how it feels. We're going to try to figure out the exact meta, etc. So there's a lot of stuff to come. Hope you like this one, and I'll see you guys next time.